It's a very sad day for BYU fans because, well, the Cougars got bounced out of the Sweet 16 immediately by the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And we have an all-1C Final Four for the second time in the tournament history. For those of you people that the tournament is boring, me included, all I gotta say is we haven't had it in so long. Like, it was 2008 the last time it was there. And it's only happened twice in the tournament's history. Like, come on, be grateful. Congratulations to the Chalk people, because the people who picked Chalk, if you don't know what picking Chalk is, it's picking the favorites every time. The 1 seeds are all in the Final Four. It's really going to come down to which 1 seed will reign overall. Auburn against Florida and Duke versus Houston. How about that? 2 SEC schools going to the Final Four is insane. The conspiracy has been fulfilled. SEC traded its football success for basketball success. Oh, God help us all. But enough about that whole basketball thing. It's time for football. UFL is going on, and we got something special for today. Welcome back to Grizzly Talks Football. Man, second episode of the second season? Oh, man, it's about to get wild. Well, that is because I will be doing my first round mock draft for this year. The first one. There's going to be a couple more down the road, don't worry. But I'm pretty sure every content creator, every NFL analyst, every NFL player pretty much has all done their mock drafts, and I have not done it yet. Why was I holding out for too long? I don't know. I was just waiting for all the free agency to get over with to really put in a mock draft. Well, now it's finally here for those of you patiently waiting. I'll make sure to have the Season 2 playlist out there so you guys can watch every single episode that we have so far. I know it's only 2, but still, you'll also have future episodes whenever I post them. Also, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos whenever they come up. And, side note, as far as the Review to Ruby series goes to a Mario Kart Tour, for those Mario Kart Tour fans that were out there, that series is done for. Because I reached Ruby for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. But let me tell you, in the MKTC community, I've gotten a ton of shit for being a Ruby player. A ton of shit. Do I take it the wrong way sometimes? Yeah, I could get a bit too defensive when, I just gotta ride with it. I just gotta laugh it off and play the villain role if I needed to. I'm just gonna say it. The next series is for Mario Kart Tour is going to be Road to Master, not Road to Diamond. Obviously, Diamond is the rank before Master in that department, and I think it's more fulfilling to say Road to Master instead of Road to Diamond, because somebody's already doing Road to Diamond. JP Givner. That's over in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe community, but, still a thing. Still a thing. Enough side talk. Let's get into this mock draft, shall we? And here is the official mock draft for 2025. Grizzly's mock draft has finally started. Here we go. NFL Mock Draft Database is going to be the site that I use to do this entire mock draft. Just out of curiosity. Let's just get straight into it. So obviously, the Tennessee Titans have the first pick, and with that first overall pick, they select Cam Ward, quarterback at the University of Miami. It's just a pretty obvious pick. Titans need a quarterback badly to fit their roster after they lost backup Mason Rudolph. I feel like Cam Ward is going to be starting right away. To the unfortunate Miami fans, because Cam Ward is being fed to the wolves just like Bryce Young did and Caleb Williams did in back-to-back drafts. Hopefully he turns out to be a good quarterback in the future, but for right now, this is the perfect pick for Tennessee right now. Next pick is the Cleveland Browns, and with their second overall pick, they select the best defensive player available, actually the best prospect in the entire draft if you don't include the guy from Colorado that's right there, Abdul Carter from Penn State. Obviously, Browns aren't really trying to go after a quarterback at the moment, and I think Abdul Carter is a huge addition to be paired up alongside Myles Garrett, who got an absolute bag at Cleveland. That's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be the quarterback. It's really going to be Kenny Pickett, isn't it? Former Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett, should I tell you. As far as the quarterback situation for Cleveland goes, I don't know. They got Jerry Jeudy, they got Elijah Moore, but what can they do right now? that whole entire team is just a dumpster fire at the moment. Jimmy Haslam is running this franchise to the ground, and we are just enjoying it, just relaxing in it. The New York Giants have the 3rd overall pick, and with that pick, they select Travis Hunter, quarterback out of Colorado. Here is my reason for this, because people are going to say, they should be picking DeJour Sanders, not freaking Travis Hunter. The Giants literally just signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. They're definitely not going after their quarterback at the moment. I don't think they like DeJour Sanders that much. He's the best quarterback left, and then it's all downhill after that. It's a big drop-off. The Giants really need a big impact player alongside Malik Neighbors, and Travis Hunter could be that guy. And the secondary does need some help as well on the defensive side of the football, because as much as Dixon Lawrence is very good and is carrying that entire defense, they need another guy that can really step up. And I think like Travis Hunter can do that for New York. Are they going to be good right away with Travis Hunter? No. Obviously not, because they don't have a consistent quarterback game. Loving Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors in that offense. Not sure about the Darius Slayton signing. They could have gotten a better option in there, but this is why I'm not the GM. And now the Patriots have the number 4 pick, and they select Will Campbell, offensive tackle at LSU. Here's the problem here. They need to get Drake Mason protection very, very fast. And this was the best tackle available. I don't know how Armand Membu got this draft stock raise, but there's no way I'm taking a chance on him quite yet. The proven prospect offensive tackle is Campbell, and he should be an immediate impact on that Patriots offensive line since it sucked last year. And it will also hopefully give Drake May a little bit more time to be able to find his receivers that consist of Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, and Mario Douglas. What? Patriots, you had all that money to spend. You only get 2 receivers that were either decent or injured. This team's definitely not making the playoffs right now. You know something? Honorable mention selection, they could have easily gotten Tator McMillan from Arizona. Moving on to Jacksonville with the 5th overall pick, I think they select Mason Graham from the University of Michigan. Yep. This is an obvious pick. Jacksonville needs a good defensive force, and Mason Graham is the best one available after Abdul Carter. There's no way Abdul Carter falls out of the top 5, but if he does, Jacksonville would be lucky to get him. But both of them do make great impacts on the teams of their respective teams, whoever they decide to get drafted by. Obviously, he was a Jim Harbaugh guy, and now he's on to the NFL draft as one of the best defenders in this entire draft class. Good for him. Up next, we got the Raiders with the 6th overall pick. Las Vegas selects Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. The guy who arguably should have won the Heisman Trophy, but, you know, there will be some people who say Travis Hunter because he plays 2 positions. Others will say Jeanty because, you know, he had a monster season at running back for Boise. Is he going to be a difference maker? Yes, but he needs a complementer. And I don't know if he has one right now in Vegas, so he may struggle to start out with. But you know how the value of running backs goes. If the Raiders can pick up a good option that will match like the speed over Genty's power, I think the Raiders could be okay. Especially with Pete Carroll as their head coach, I feel like the Raiders are probably going to get just a tiny bit better. They're still a dumpster fire though, so it really doesn't really matter. Up next, we got the New York Jets with the 7th overall pick, and they select a shocker here. I think like they take the Texas offensive tackle Kelvin Banks. This is literally why this is my mock draft, not the actual thing, because this is right by your wayside. They don't take Membu because, come on, where the hell did this guy come from besides Missouri? What combine did Membu get to get rated this high? I gotta be honest with you, I think Membu's overrated. People are gonna be so mad at me when they find out what the hell happened here. But let me tell you, I think Membu might be a bust. Banks was an original 2nd best tackle in the draft. I feel like he is still going to be the 2nd tackle taken in this draft. New York Jets need some protection, especially for Justin Fields, because he is their new starting quarterback and I have a bad feeling they're going to run his career down the toilet. Defensively, they're okay. It's really the offense that needs the most work, especially when losing Devontae Adams to the Rams. If New York Jets can get like a solid wide receiver 2 alongside Garrett Wilson, I feel like they can have maybe a shot at offense. Their defense is situated pretty nicely, but the offense, yikes, needs a lot of work. That brings me to the Carolina Panthers with the 8th overall pick. They select Tatora McMillan from Arizona. Big shocker here, but are we really even that surprised? Guys, come on. The Panthers are struggling with wide receiver and offensive line. They're either going to go offensive tackle first round, wide receiver second round, or the other way around, or vice versa. Literally because those are the main problems with their team. Bryce Young doesn't have a real true number 1 receiver besides maybe Adam Thielen. But let's be honest, he's getting older. He's not going to last too long. So they're going to need a lot of help offensively. Defensively seems okay right now. Maybe they could get a couple of defenders there and then. But main priority right now for Carolina is offense. Panthers are better than everybody says. And I feel like this team could make the playoffs if they play their cards right. That takes me to the New Orleans Saints with pick number 9. They pick Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. That's right. I think Shedeur Sanders falls into the top 10, not the top 5. Saints have been looking at a quarterback in some of the mock drafts that I have been viewing as of late. Oh boy, this has been a disaster. Train wreck for New Orleans. Their season was long gone with all those injuries. For them to be picked number 9 is actually quite insane, considering the fact that they had a 2-0 head start and then their season went to shit. As far as selection goes, like I said, in the mock drafts that I have seen, New Orleans took a quarterback. It wasn't Sanders, but it was Jackson Dart for some stupid reason. In this case, the best quarterback goes to New Orleans. And in this draft, it's Shedeur Sanders. Do I think he's going to be a game changer? Maybe in like 2 years or something like that. Not exactly what I would hope for, but, you know, it's all there. But I'm sure Coach Prime will be proud of his son wherever he decides to get picked up by. Next up, the Chicago Bears. At pick number 10, they decide to select Jalen Walker from the University of Georgia. One of the Bears' most important needs is an edge defender. They have Montez Sweat, I'm very sure. They want somebody on the other side of them that can wreak havoc, and Jalen Walker might be that guy. Especially with all those offensive line additions for the Chicago Bears, I think they're pretty much set on the offensive side. It really is focusing on defense at this point. Do they need an offensive tackle? Definitely. But if Jalen Walker is available and he is like one of the best prospects on defense in the entire class, then Bears might as well pick him. Next up, we get the 49ers with pick number 11. They select Will Johnson for the University of Michigan. This was kind of a tough one for me to figure out because they need offensive tackles and corners, and 2 of the best prospects available at that time were available. So they indeed needed cornerback depth, and Will Johnson is the best thing that can happen. The best corner in the draft. Hopefully he could turn out to be sort of a... I'm trying to figure out who a good corner is in the NFL besides Pat Surtain. Something like Quinyon Mitchell. Maybe those Eagles corners like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. I don't know. I don't think of anything on the top of my head. But I feel like Will Johnson could be a difference maker in that defense. It's just one of the additions that the 49ers need as of right now, so they literally lost everyone. With the 12th pick, we have the Dallas Cowboys, and they select Armand Membu from the University of Missouri. He finally goes off the board. This site has him as the 7th best player in this draft class. I don't fucking believe it. I feel like Jerry Jones is going to be that guy that says that we need to take a big risk here. And Membu is definitely that big risk right now, unfortunately. Trust me, Dallas would be the one to be making that brash decision. As far as Membu goes, I feel like he has unlimited upside, but I don't know if he's going to be as good of an offensive line prospect as people say. I feel free to fire me up with some bad comments if you want to about this decision to drop Membu all the way to 12. I could take it. Miami is next with the 13th overall pick, and they select Tyler Warren, tight end in a Penn State. Some people are going to be like, what? Why him? This is not just to screw over the Indianapolis Colts. Not just that. The Dolphins' only real good tight end that they have is Jonnu Smith, who used to be on the Atlanta Falcons, I believe? Yeah, I think he was definitely on that Falcons team at one point when Arthur Smith was the head coach. God damn it. Also, he was the best prospect available. So there's that reason as well. I feel like Tyler Warren has the best chance of the tight ends in this draft to be the next Brock Bowers. He has the best chance, but I don't think he's getting anywhere near what Brock Bowers achieved last season. I'm telling you, Tyler Warren is going to turn into a stud wherever he decides to go. Which takes me to the Indianapolis Colts at pick number 14. They decide to go with Jahdae Barron, cornerback from Texas. One of their needs was a cornerback, and this was the best one available. Do I think they should have taken Shahad Campbell or Colston Loveland? Maybe. But, hey, Barron's got some upside, I've heard, and he's actually supposed to be a top 15 pick this year, so there's that as well. Oh, dear God. Now it takes us to the Atlanta Falcons at pick number 15, and the Atlanta Falcons decide to go with Michael Williams from the University of Georgia. There is no way that they do not take edge defender here. The biggest need since 2022? After 4 straight first round offensive players, it's due for a defensive pick in the first round. Right now, mock drafts are leaning towards Shamar Stewart, but I really do hope they do not pick Stewart. 3 sacks in 4 seasons. We were the worst team in sacks last year. We need somebody who could get to the quarterback. Michael Williams can do that. The Marshall dude, I can't remember what his name is. Mike Green, he can do that too. Pick an edge defender, Atlanta, but do not pay Shamar. He's not going to get to the quarterback. Arizona has the 16th pick, and they select Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. I think they're the ones that take the chance on Stewart. I'm no expert, but Arizona has been needed at edge defender for quite some time, ever since J.J. Watt retired. They have some good young players come and go as well, like Zach Allen. He went to Denver, and he's actually doing pretty solidly there. But let me tell you, that Arizona defense was underrated last year, and Stewart is supposedly going to make them better, but I just don't see that happening. Maybe he'll be okay at best, but he won't be the difference maker that they need on defense, in my opinion. I just feel like Arizona takes a chance on him and start to realize that he's not the guy that they were looking for. Pick number 17 goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they select Malachi Starks out of the University of Georgia. Let me tell you, I love Mike Green from Marshall with his 17 sacks, but here's the thing, NFL teams only look at Power 5 schools. Well, now it's Power 4 now, but you know what I mean. They don't pay attention to Group of 5 schools like I would do if I was the GM. Malachi Starks, one of the best secondaries in this entire draft class, going to Cincinnati actually does help their defense quite a lot, because I think their secondary was most of the reason why the Bengals defense sucked. I mean, the whole unit sucked, but the secondary was allowing too many passing yards and a lot of touchdowns from what I've seen. And no, they don't need cornerback, they need safety along with an edge defender. But right now I feel like Cincinnati does take a chance on Starks. With the 18th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Mike Green, edge defender out of Marshall. Like I said before, Mike Green had 17 sacks in his last year with the Thundering Herd, and he has generated a lot of buzz around him. Really do hope he turns out to be a great defender. I just don't know if it's going to be possible, but I think he can be a stud. He's my sleeper to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. But that's just me. With the 19th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Jahad Campbell, linebacker from the University of Alabama. Jahad Campbell has been on the board for way too long. Tampa Bay needed to get the best player available, especially on defense at linebacker, and there it was. Campbell from the University of Alabama was a part of Saban's team, and then he went to DeBoer. Well, he stayed on that team, but he was with his entire team his entire career, and he turned out to be a very good linebacker. Do I think he's going to pan out? That's a little bit hard to say. I think he's more of like the mixed, in my opinion. I think he'll be like decent, but he won't be like wow you statistically and wow you on film tape. Like, he's just there. He'll make an impact. He'll be a team player. He'll just be a system fit, but that's pretty much all I could say. And that takes me to the Denver Broncos with the 20th pick. And they select Omarion Hampton, running back out of UNC. By the way, guys, I'm doing just one round because if I would have done the whole entire thing, it would have taken way too long. You saw that it was an hour the last video was. I'm not trying to do that ever again. But on to Omarion Hampton. He arguably is the running back too, even though I would love for it to be Cam Scatterbo. I'm hoping it's Scatterbo, but right now it is Hampton. He's getting big draft comparisons in the running back department, but I don't think he's going to live up to their statistical career. But I think he'll be a good running back. He'll definitely be better than the running back room that the Broncos had last year in, what was it, Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin. That was bad. That running back room was almost as bad as the Raiders. The 21st pick is held by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they select Kenneth Grant from the University of Michigan. I know people are going to be in the comments saying, Grizz, the Steelers need a quarterback. My response to that is Aaron Rodgers going to sign with y'all? Here's my dilemma. I'm assuming the Steelers do sign Aaron Rodgers, even though it's looking like it could be already a done deal. If the Steelers do end up signing Aaron Rodgers to the team, I think they select a defensive player. If they don't, it's more than likely they're going to have Jackson Dart play quarterback. I sure do hope they don't take Jackson Dart because his combine was the reason why his draft stock rose, not his quarterback abilities, and I think he's mid. I think he'll be at least top 20 in the league when it's all said and done, but there's no way he's catching up to the Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Which takes me to the Los Angeles Chargers with the 22nd overall pick, and they select Colston Loveland from the University of Michigan. Yeah, back-to-back players from the Michigan Wolverines going in the draft. I have good reason for Colston Loveland being here. It's literally because the biggest need right now is a tight end. Before you give me the wide receiver BS, Quentin Johnston's looking good, and McConkey's already great. They just signed Najee Harris, and they have Justin Herbert, who's looking like a top 15 quarterback in the league, maybe top 10. But they also have a good defense as well. And unfortunately, Joey Bosa left, so that kind of leaves a hole in the edge. Hopefully, the Chargers can figure out what to do with that in the later rounds. But as far as the first round, the main priority is tight end at the moment. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers at pick 23. Tom Grizzly, I apologize if you disagree with me. Also, I understand if you disagree with me. But I think your Green Bay Packers select Matthew Golden from the University of Texas. Now, what aren't you thinking? This is not a bad pick. It's not. It's the best receiver out there, and the Packers needed a wide receiver. So there you go. The Packers receiver core is Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Dotavian Wicks. It's not bad, but there's not a player there that stands out. The Packers need a receiver that could stand out, and Golden might be the guy if the Packers decide to go that way. Which takes me to the Minnesota Vikings with pick 24. They decide to pick Nick Imanwori, safety out of South Carolina. Best prospect available according to the rankings on this thing. I probably think that was kind of a bad move, but Harrison Smith is getting a little older. He's starting to regress. Imanwori could potentially take his place in the future. I think this could be a big depth piece for Minnesota, especially in the secondary. Murphy's staying. Minnesota is rolling with J.J. McCarthy. Hopefully he can do well under QB Whisperer KOC. I'm hoping that Imanwori does fill a big role in in the Minnesota defense like Harrison Smith did a while ago. Well, he still does. It's just, like I said, he's getting older. Takes me to the Houston Texans, who have the 25th overall pick, and they select Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Main reason, CJ Stroud needs protection more than anything since they already lost Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders. I think that reason should be obvious for anybody. Defending national championship offensive tackle, might I add, so he knows how to be a winner. But he alone won't make Houston big winners. They need more. Up next, we get the Rams with the 26th overall pick. My apologies. And they select, surprisingly, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver at Ohio State. How did he last this long? I feel like Emeka Egbuka should be picked earlier, but I feel like with the amount of offensive line and defensive prospects out there, I feel like he's going to fall to the late first round or early second round. He is a very talented receiver, though. I'll tell you that. Well, just at the beginning, before the Broncos were expected to get Marion Hampton as of late, before that, Emeka Egbuka was the player that many people expected Broncos to take. Obviously, his draft stock plummeted for some stupid reason, probably the combine, but I think he's still a good wide receiver prospect. It's just a shock that he's going to the Rams. You know, when I was doing this, I was thinking between James Pierce and Emeka Egbuka. I think those two would be 26 and 27. Because James Pierce is an absolute monster for Tennessee. And Emeka Egbuka is a good receiver for Ohio State. Even though he's getting outshined by a guy by the name of Jeremiah Smith. Speaking of the 27th pick, the Ravens have this pick. And they select James Pierce out of the University of Tennessee. Yes, indeed. Yeah. There's no other question about this one. Obviously, with the Michael Pierce retirement, they needed somebody on the defensive line as well to kind of help take his place. James Pierce can do that. He is a game wrecker for the Volunteers, and I hope he is a game wrecker in the NFL. I'm hoping he is. Detroit has the 28th overall pick, the former NFC number 1 seed, and they select Walter Nolan, a former number 1 recruit from Ole Miss. Walter Nolan has some untouched upside that he needs to work on. Obviously, he is a game breaker as well for Ole Miss. He was the reason why the Ole Miss defense was so good, and they were a top 10 team for a while. Of course, I believe Walter Nolan's going to be either a late round first or an early second round pick. That Detroit team has a lot of weapons on the offense. It really is about time they start working on defense. And it does start with the guy from Ole Miss, who was a former number 1 recruit, like I said. And that takes me to the team that beat the Lions in the divisional round to score the 29th pick, the Washington Commanders. They decided to pick up Derek Harmon from the University of Oregon. Back-to-back D lineman. Explain that, Grizz. Well, I'd be happy to. Well, Jonathan Allen left Washington. Yeah, that's right. Jonathan Allen is no longer a Washington Commander, believe it or not. They need to find his replacement. I feel like Derek Hartman can be that guy to fill in the hole that he left. Is this a good move? I would say it is. With the 30th overall pick, the Buffalo Bills have it, and they select Donovan Ziraku, edge defender from Boston College. He was literally the best player available from the needs that Buffalo had to get. Especially with Von Miller leaving and also being behind, I believe, Greg Rousseau and Joey Bosa. This is going to be tough for him to get to playing time, but when he does get his chance, I think he can definitely make the most of his time in the NFL. Really do hope he does, because if not, it's going to be a long offseason for Buffalo to find a defensive lineman that actually has some decency. And now that takes me to the final 2 picks, the Super Bowl participants from the previous season. First up, the 31st pick, possessed by the Kansas City Frauds, the Chiefs. Select Tyler Booker from the University of Alabama. After losing 2 of their best offensive linemen, I'm just kidding. They lost Joe Tooney to the Chicago Bears, and now they needed to replace him, and this was the best thing that I could come up with. I mean, he was the best interior O-line prospect out there, so it really comes as no surprise. And now, the 32nd overall pick, the final pick of the first round, the final pick of this video. Philadelphia selects Gray Zabel, interior O-lineman from North Dakota State. Also, best interior offensive lineman available. Those two are going 31 and 32. Believe that. And that is going to do it for my first round mock draft. At least for now. I will do another one at some point. Just stay tuned for that. And yeah, this was a very fun thing to do. I would love to do more of this in like the future drafts. Do let me know in the comments, is this a W or is this an L? Hopefully I didn't do that bad. I hope I didn't stick it out. Only thing left to do really is to wait 22 more days for the actual NFL draft to start. Because that's when the real selections take place. Anyways, that is going to do it for this episode of Grizzly Talks Football. I know I am wearing the Jazz shirt. We suck this year. We're trying to get the #1 pick, you know what I mean? But anyways, make sure you give a like to this video if you love this episode. Also, make sure you hit the red subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos that I post. This is the Grizz, and signing off for now. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!